I have to say that I am in a position where I have to propose a motion counter to my colleagues, everything of which I agree with, I have to say. I'm quite happy to put that on the record. All of the sentiments that have been expressed by the two previous speakers is accurate and is a true reflection of what goes on and has gone on in direct provision. I visited the centres with my colleague and friend, Senator O'Clarty, and others. I visited a number of centres, and I have to say I was quite shocked and appalled at the inhumanity that this state is treating citizens of this world. It's just disgraceful. I'd like to welcome the people in the public gallery. I don't know them, but I suspect they're people who are, some of them at least, are residents of direct provision centres. You're most welcome. I'd like to apologise on my behalf as a member of this Oireachtas for the way you've been treated. It's totally unacceptable. That said, I have taken, and by the way, before I continue, I'd like to pay particular tribute to Carol O'Brien in the Irish Times and Brian O'Connell on the Sean O'Rourke programme in particular for their work over the summer period in highlighting this shame in our nation. But what I will say is, at least we have a minister in Aidan O'Riordan who has called it as it is, who is a fresh face, who is a welcome, honest face in terms of signing up to what is not defending the indefensible, because he's not defending the indefensible. So I'm quite happy to support a counter motion in the knowledge that we have a minister who I believe will act on this. He has made it a very clear platform of reform that he intends to see actioned in the next 18 months. And I think that this House owes him the support of getting behind him in what won't be an easy endeavour, but it's an endeavour that I know he will fulfil and achieve. I just have a feeling that with the events of the summer, with the publicity and the light that's been shone in to this part of our society, coupled with the appointment of a new minister, that it is coming together and that we will see a change. I think myself personally that the direct provision centres should be closed. On the occasion when I visited one in Galway, there was officials from RIA there, and to say they were defensive of the questioning that I did is an understatement. I actually felt quite intimidated by the level of defensiveness that took place on that occasion. But anyway, we'll leave that where it is. I get annoyed to see that in 2014, that this society is making the same mistakes that it's made over the years. We've had investigations into what's happened in various institutions. We've had commissions, we've had inquiries. Our former colleague, Senator McAleese, carried out a very comprehensive inquiry recently. But I know in my heart and soul that in 20, 30, 40 years' time, that people will be standing here in this chamber discussing commissions of investigation and public inquiries into the way people have been treated in these centres. It is absolutely going to happen. When these children grow up and they start telling their stories, when they do become citizens of this country, because I know they will, when they start telling the stories of how they were treated, what happened on a daily basis, on an hourly basis in these centres, the way people in institutions in the 60s, 70s and 80s have done so very eloquently lately, that in 20 or 30 years' time, when the young people and the older people get their freedom, get citizenship and start telling their stories, there will be a national outcry which will result in a public inquiry, and the Taoiseach of the day, whoever he or she will be standing up in Dáil Éireann making a public apology on behalf of the people of Ireland. I have absolutely no doubt in my heart and soul that that is going to happen. So we, as legislators, have a responsibility to stop the rot and to deal with it. And we've done enough of talking. It's gone on 14 years. This government is in government 3.5 years. We have another 18 months maximum left. Let's do the right thing. And it's always the proper thing to do the right thing. All we need is the political will. I think we have it. and I look forward to seeing this issue dealt with. You know, there are issues like not being able to work. It's a no-brainer. There are some of these residents in direct provision centres that are extremely talented people, whether with their hands, with their brains, with their creativity, with their imagination. They would make an enormously positive contribution to this society if they were facilitated, encouraged, and fostered. It is quite shocking to think that children who attend school and do the Leaving Certificate and can get maximum grades and maximum points then are not encouraged and supported to go on to university. I mean, that's just reprehensible. It's inhumane. It's like cutting a flower midstream when somebody has reached that level of academia and then not being allowed to go on to university, the same as the people they were in school with. Like, what normal society does that? You know, anyone who calls themselves an independent, respectful society does not do that.
A minute.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I could speak for the day on this issue, Cahill. But, like, you know, it's very simple. I believe personally that anybody who's here over 2 years at this stage should have an amnesty, and that should be facilitated. It probably won't happen. But let's at least deal with the direct provision issue and close down these centres and just come up with a better model.